I'd like to call the workshop to order for the town of Wausau for the interviewing of utility building clerk applicants. Did everyone, when the application was first, everyone had a chance to review the applicants and questions that they were asked to reply to?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, now, as I understand, one applicant has perhaps found employment someplace else, and maybe some others have withdrawn that application, and we're interviewing two today, Ms. Walker and Ms. Brock, okay? I'm just going to take the moment and go through these that are not here and are not going to be interviewed, lay them aside. Does anyone on the council have anything to say as we begin our interview? Have
I think you got a lot of copies.
let's see, I'm gonna, I'm sorry, that is Ms. Walker. I was about to lay hers. I thought it was separated here from the cover sheet.
I think we got just two applications in our packet. don't
That's
we?
what I'm thinking, that's what I'm looking at to make sure that we are now two. I didn't notice on, when I looked at Ms. Walker's, I saw Tracy Michelle Blackman, but there's Walker right up next to the place where it says name, so I just could overlook that I did have hers. Okay. All right, any discussion with the council before we begin our interviews? Doesn't matter which order that we interview in. Okay, is alphabetical, does it make it, do either one of you need to be someplace else right away? Is it all right if we do alphabetical?
That's fine.
Marcy, that would be you first. Ms. Brock, if you can come on then, we'll begin.
I'll have to.
Yes, ma'am.
I can't imagine I'm allowed to do anything.
Did you want us to
I don't,
our chair?
we can vote tonight on this anyway. We're only going to interview, and it'll be.
Can I interview?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, you can interview and discuss even in the meeting if you do that. And you'll have to check to see if, I think you'll be able to vote because, leasing law is not covered in the statute.
Okay.
Marcy, you can get you one of them chairs there if you want to sit down right here.
Yep. All right, Ms. Brock, we appreciate you taking the time to, and the interest to, fill out an application and come tonight for the interview. You have had an opportunity to read the, job description. You know all that we're asking for in the job description, and of course, it's been my experience over the years that job descriptions never covers everything that you'll be asked to do.
Right.
But usually there's a catch-all that says anything else at the discretion of the supervisor or whatever the case may be. With that said, is there someone from this, one of our council persons? Well, let's do this. Is it all right if we do it this way? If we do this is so infrequent that we do this, we don't necessarily have a standard way. Why don't you first, if it's all right, let's just let her tell us something about herself and her qualifications and all like that, and then we'll take turns asking questions. Is that okay with everybody to do it that way? Okay,
Fine.
just tell us something about yourself.
Okay, I'm Marcy Brock. I'm from the area, and I've been married 13 years. Have two kids, a 12-year-old and 9-year-old, and I've started working when I was 16 years old at a restaurant. So I've been in customer service for over 18 years, working with the public in all aspects of that. Most of that has been spent in an office environment. So, yeah. I have experience as I've worked at a clinic, a medical clinic for several years. So I have experience with medical patients. I have experience working at a bank in human resources. So I have all of that type of office experience as an administrative assistant. I also worked at Florida State University for almost 3 years, 2.5 years, something like that. So I have experience as an administrative assistant there, doing ordering, data entry, travel reimbursements, stipend payments, all that type of work. And then the past 7 years, I've been working in Wausau down here, down the road. I have customer service experience with that, cash handling, ordering, inventory, all that type of thing. So I feel like I'm ready to take on the utility billing clerk position if y'all see fit. I really like the opportunity to serve the residents of Wausau in a new way.
Okay, does someone have a question for Marcia? Maybe you would like for her to expand on with the questions that have been asked and the introduction that she just gave for herself. Somebody have something you'd like to expand on?
Did we go by these?
We can ask those. As a matter of fact, I'm going to ask. That's where some of my questions will come from. Is
All right,
from that.
go ahead. Do you think you work well with managing the two maintenance men?
Yeah, I've worked with a lot of, I've worked at FSU, and we had a maintenance department there. I put in work orders for student events. Had to work really close with them for the student events, making sure everything was set up properly, cleaned up properly, and all of that. So I feel comfortable doing that.
Can you speak a little louder? Do you
Move
always
your chair closer.
do you
I
always
don't want to be
speak?
in front of the camera.
Do you always speak that softly?
Yes, most of the time.
That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just we need to hear you. And if I was a customer standing at the window, I need to hear you.
Yes, I can talk louder for sure.
Okay. Mr. Park, you have a question? Can we do one and go around and then come back and do more if we want to do that way, or do you want to just ask all yours now? Then we.
I'll go to Bill.
Ma'am?
Go to Bill.
Okay, Mr.
Ask
Park?
something.
Well, I don't have anything right now, but y'all can go ahead.
All right.
I have, if a situation arose to where you were in the office by yourself, and it's probably gonna happen, like when somebody gets upset because they've had a water leak and didn't know, and come in and they're like, I'm not paying this water bill, this ain't mine, I didn't know I had a water leak. How would you be able to handle that?
First of all, I already prepared my mind that Miss Margaret might be out some, and I'm going to ask her to teach me everything she knows. So, and if someone came in and was, upset, and I would just first calm them down, let them know that we're going to work with them within the rules and regulations that we have, let them know that I'm compassionate and their concerns are validated, and just talk them through it and let them know that, we'll work with them and see what the rules are for that and follow through.
How would, go ahead.
No, go ahead, no.
How would you react, Marcy, to somebody coming in and, they give you sad stories about why they can't pay their water bills, or how would you sort of handle that? I know that's our fault here on the council, but I'm just saying, how would you sort of handle that?
I'm really good at building relationships with my customers and with, the people that I'm around and work with. So I feel like that I would, take all that in consideration, figure out what the rules are and the regulations, if something else can be done, I'm a solution person. I want to find a solution and figure out what can be done and how I can help them in the best way within the policy and procedures that I'm given, so.
Fine.
You're welcome.
I'm concerned about why we shouldn't hire you.
I don't see any reason why not. I just feel like I'm a perfect fit for this. I've already kind of put my mind into working here and, learning everything there is to learn. I know Miss Margaret will eventually one day retire and I'll just be doing all of this, so.
That's
I've already
fine.
put myself in that position in my mind, like I know one day she's gonna retire. She did already retire once.
I asked that as part two of question number 3, your previous strengths.
Right.
And I would expect to find your strengths either in your application or your narrative on that. So, but lots of us don't recognize our weaknesses. Like one of mine is I don't delegate very good. Even when I've had employees who work for me,
Yes.
I didn't delegate and turn them loose. Or I probably have some others. I ramble when I begin to tell something. I ramble because I go into lots of details, so I recognize I have some weaknesses. Don't do much to correct them, it don't seem like, but what's the chink in your armor?
I can completely agree with you in that. I am very detail oriented. I like to over explain myself sometimes and just kind of, talk a little bit. But my weaknesses, I would say definitely overly detail oriented sometimes. My strengths, I would say, very motivated, flexible, I'm a team player, dedicated to the company, the customer, and whoever, and the mission of whatever the company is.
Ms. Carter?
How do you feel about, like on Saturday or Sunday or non-working hours, when somebody's water goes out and they call you all upset and everything? How are you gonna handle that? Are you gonna be able to come to the city hall and work till that problem gets taken care of?
Yeah, if that's something that they need and I'm allowed to do, but if that's part of it, I definitely see it.
That's part of it. You get called out at night and on the weekends.
Okay, get it fixed. That's the way I'm used to working on the weekends, so
Well, that's true.
I work Saturdays, so I'm used to working on the weekends.
Is there somebody I can give the water bill?
It's a drop-off.
There's a drop box on the corner, just outside the door. Just lift the lid and drop it in like a mailbox.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Porter?
And you don't have any problem, making all of our meetings, right?
Right, yeah.
And, the workshops and everything?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ms. West?
I can't think of anything.
No, I'm fine.
Do you have any experience with government accounting or grants, grants management?
I have worked with students to start writing grants, but I haven't directly, I've tried to help them with it, but I haven't directly been grant writing. But I'm sure it's something I could learn.
Where is Amy Lane?
It's in Sunny Hills,
Okay.
about 10 minutes, something.
I thought I knew all the roads in Washington County, but St. Hills
There's a
has
lot of
got roads
roads.
that I haven't even been there, I think. Okay. Ms. Carter?
How accurate are you on time?
Accurate on time, like being here on time?
Like being here on
Oh,
time,
yeah,
like being here
I'm
at
good.
7 o'clock every morning and had a meeting at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and,
Yes, I can be here at 7.
okay.
Or,
I don't have anything right now.
Well, actually, I was just looking at, I think the only thing that I would, 8 o'clock is, I would probably need to be here by 8, actually, just thinking about dropping my kids off at school. They have to be there, by 7:30.
You work 8 to 5?
Yes, 8, yeah, 8 to 5, 8 to 4, whatever. Yeah.
and you could be punctual at 8.
Yes. I've got plenty of time to get on from 7:30 to here in 30 minutes. I'm sure it only takes 15, so.
Just to ramble again a little bit, Reader's Digest carried the story one time of a community college professor who had one student that was 15 minutes late every day, come in 15 minutes late. So he addressed the issue with her, and she said, well, I have to take my first child to middle school. I have to take my second child to elementary. I have to have my baby at the daycare and my husband at work. I can't get here any sooner. It's just impossible. So he said, all right, from today forward, your class time begins at 7:15. The first day she came in at 7:30.
Yeah, I have to aim for 30 minutes early, and then I'm usually early.
Okay.
I was 30 minutes early. Actually, I was an hour early today.
Have you ever had any confrontation on any of your other jobs, like fussing and arguing to the point that you almost got fired or anything like that?
On a job? Oh, no, I get along with everybody.
Mr. Roxanne? What about, picking up on this, what about following instructions even if you think your supervisor is wrong?
I can follow instructions, yeah, I mean, definitely, I'm used to having a boss, so being told how to do it.
We don't know how fair a question that is because it would depend on what the law, if the boss told you to do something illegal or immoral.
Well, if it was illegal, definitely not.
Just make sure that I distinguish between you having a better thought or a better idea than the pattern or the standard that you was asked to follow. Anything you want to tell us? I asked you why you should not be hired. Tell us now why you should be hired. And the reason, one of the reasons so that the council knows that I'm asking some of these questions over is that both of these candidates and the others that had a chance, they both had the opportunity and the others to sit someplace and think of good answers. So we ought to have good answers on these papers. I want to hear from you.
I just feel like with my customer service experience since I was 16, working with the public, you know, I've experienced a lot of unhappy people and happy people and built a lot of relationships. I've done a lot of data entry. I've done a lot of, you know, processing payments and reimbursements and things like that. I've done all that, and I just feel like I'm a very qualified person for that, and I feel like I'd be the perfect fit for it.
Anything else, Ms. Waits? Mr. Wolfson? Mr. Porter?
Good.
Mr. Porter?
I'm good.
Any parting thing you would say to us?
The only thing I was wanting to ask was, will y'all be making a decision tonight, and if so, when do you call that person to let them know if or when they get the job?
This is a workshop. We can't make decisions tonight, except we can put things on the consent agenda, which next week is our regular meeting. So
Regular meeting.
this decision, as far as I know, unless something comes up between now and then that we have to start over, as far as I know, we'll make a decision a week from tonight, and that meeting's at 5 o'clock in the evening. You should get a call Friday or following Monday. There will be do you have a problem would you have a problem passing a drug and alcohol test or an employment physical?
Good with that. My employer just asked that I finish out the week that I'm in, that's all that she asked.
Yeah, I'm sure that if either of you are selected, that would be a reasonable request. We would want the same thing if you were leaving us.
Right.
Okay, well, thank you for coming.
Thank you. Can I share one more thing?
Sure.
I brought this for a reason, so I just wanted to show you the award that I got at my Florida State University. I'm sorry, I hope it's stuck in me. Just to recognize my loyal commitment to the duties of the RSO secretary, that my personal values, work ethic, and attention to detail have encouraged many students to learn the process necessary to successfully in their student organization. So I just wanted to share that, put my money where my mouth is, that, that I was able to get this award for my dedication and hard work.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations on the award.
Thank you.
You asked a very good question, and so that they both hear this and all, and Margaret's not here, and I don't send to speak for her, but about like the person that comes and with the sad stories and things like that. I think as we're going through this time of transition, it would be a good time for us to really have maybe a strong look at operational policy or something like that. That decision ought not to be made in that office unless they have a foundation to make it on. If they got a personnel policy or a rule or an operational policy that says you can do this, this, and this, or you can't do this, they will not be making that decision. Whether if they come to us and we renege and back up on what we've done, well, we're the policy makers. We can change policy every meeting if we want to, but I don't think that we ought to put it on any, including Margaret, to make those decisions. If we want the decision to be no, we need to tell them to say no. Then if that person chooses to come to see us, then we change that. It's off of that, it's off of Margaret, it's off of whomever may be helping her. If y'all would, let's think about that.
Well, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay, Ms. Walker?
Hello.
Good evening. You can sit if you like, or stand if you like.
I think I understand. Thank you.
All right. All right, well, why don't we do this the same way? We'll start by letting you tell us something about yourself, and we do have your application and your resume, but let's hear it from you.
As I said in my resume, I did work at the Northwest Florida Community Hospital for almost 15 years, 7 years, about 7.5 years in accounting, 7.5 years in patient billing, so I have a lot of experience with billing. I worked at Dr. Lodge's office for 5 years doing billing. And then I went to work for the city of Vernon doing the deputy clerk, and then I was promoted to the city clerk. So I have experience with the city.
Okay.
Meetings, all the good stuff.
Pioneer Road, east or west?
East.
East.
I live about a half-mile east of EOC.
I'm sorry?
I live about a half-mile east of EOC.
A half mile east?
Yes, sir.
That's this way, that puts you right in the middle of town.
West, I do it every time.
West of.
West. I live west.
Towards Vernon.
So we won't ask her if she can read a map or a comic.
That's not what I'm good at. That's what my husband's good at. I'll leave all that to him.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Portland, I'm going to start with you this time. Or you want to start with Ms. Wade? You want me to go on the right side?
That's fine. You won't have any problem making all of our council meetings, workshops, special meetings, stuff like that. Okay.
Ms. Wade.
I think we're kind of, as you hear a lot, we're stuck on the part of when we have people come in, with sad stories, well, this has happened, or You know, I was out of town, I come back, this was going on with my water, and it is hard, like Roger was saying, you know, in there for them to have to make that decision, you know, and you do have, you know, like, I'm sure that you've seen them come in mad and.
Very.
Yeah, how did you handle that?
Well, with the city of Vernon, it was up to the council, so I would tell them, I'm sorry, you know, this is a process we have to go through. We will have to go to the city council. The city council will have to approve any adjustments that are done.
When you work with the city of Vernon, did y'all have problems with, people paying water bills? Did they run up high for the city of Vernon?
We did not allow that, no, sir.
You didn't allow?
No, sir. On the date of cutoff, if the bill wasn't paid, it was cut off. Then they would come and pay.
Okay. Well, that's the way it should be.
Yes, sir, I agree.
Yeah.
If you're gonna run them.
When you run a business, you have to run it by the
Yeah,
book.
you do, and you know, we have to pay our light bills.
Yes,
If
sir.
they don't, they just come on.
Yes, sir.
And you know, that shouldn't be a problem that we have, but we do, okay? And to me, it ain't morally right, okay?
I agree.
Thank you.
I had a water bill there and I paid mine every month, whether I was working there at the time or not, it was paid.
Yeah.
Why should we not hire you?
Why should you not? Why shouldn't you? I have experience with city government accounting, with water sewer billing.
I like the confidence that the we have.
Hey, I try.
Okay. Ms. Carter? Can I wait on you a minute? Expand, I'll do part two of the same thing as I did with Ms. Broad. What are your weaknesses?
To be honest, it's kind of a double-edged sword with me because I learn very quickly and I forget that other people don't learn as quickly as me. So I tend to get a little bit aggravated with other people when they don't pick up as quickly as I do.
They include council persons.
It
I'm
can,
sure.
absolutely.
I'm sure.
And I'll tell you that one thing that I tend to do is when I explain something, I explain it the way I think about it, and I don't tend to think about how the other person is taking in the information.
I understand what you're saying.
But I can absolutely, if anything that the council puts into place, I'll back it up. Whether I agree or not, I'll back it up.
How do you feel about the weekend and the nights, and, you know, you're called out,
Been there and done that.
been there, done that?
Not a problem at all.
Mr. Ford?
I don't have anything right now.
Ms. West?
Anything?
I don't have nothing else to say.
You alluded to it in your opening comment or when I asked about not hiring you, and your application and your other experiences there. Apparently much of it is involved in financial management, budgeting and collection and billing and things like
Yes,
that.
sir.
The second part of the question I asked was grants. They have unique accounting practices and unique requirements and things like that. It's not just part of everyday governmental accounting.
It's fine.
Did you or have you experienced in managing grants?
I worked with Fred Fox on grants, so yes, sir.
Did you write grants?
Absolutely not. He took care of all of that.
Ms. Carter?
Good.
want to ask you a question, and then I'm going to come back and ask Ms. Brock the same question so that we judge you on the same set of answers. I had an occasion today to have a meeting with a person of influence in our church organization, and maybe too a little bit overconfident. I told him that I had never left a church, that if they had a pastoral vacancy, that I couldn't go back to that. I felt like that I would be received back by. Have you ever left a job that you couldn't go back to?
City of Vernon, I actually did not leave. I was fired. I was terminated.
You were terminated from the city of Vernon
I was.
for cause.
Actually,
And let me be fair to you. We probably know all.
you
we
probably
know
do.
that.
You probably
And I know
do.
there's a suit involved, so I know you can't say some things, but.
Well, they were doing some illegal things that I pointed out to them, and they didn't like the fact that I pointed it out.
Ms. Brock, have you ever left a job voluntarily or terminated that you couldn't go back to? Not that you wouldn't go back to it, but that you couldn't by the choice of the job? If there was a vacancy any place you ever worked and you applied, you feel like you could be hired back any place you've ever worked before? Is that what you're saying, Ms. Walker?
Yes.
That any place that you have where if they were hiring, you feel like you could
Yes.
apply and get a fair. Anything else from the council?
No.
Okay, all right. Thank you as well for coming, Ms. Walker.
Thank you so much for your time.
And again to you, Ms. Brock,
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you both for coming. We would deliberate these tonight, further, and try to come to, a consensus that we can have a candidate ready to vote on next week. We do have another, public hearing supposed to be taking place right about now. We need to move on to that. Do either of you, I think interviews are two-way street. Do either of you have questions for us? Was our job description, our benefits, our salary, was all that sufficient that you applied for this, knowing what it is? Or do you have questions for the council tonight before you leave? Okay. Well, thank you both for coming.
Thank you.
Separated so that I can go and draw more per. Let's see. Council, it probably has been and may be a long time again before we have ever interviewed two better qualified on paper applicants. These are two on paper good applications. Now, we're supposed to open these engineering and other things. We can go ahead and do that. Our regular workshop starts at 5. We can do this, and discuss that, or we can discuss this more while we're here, then in the workshop, we talk about some kind of decision. Which way do you want to do? Do y'all have a preference in how we do that? Okay, why don't we open these things here then? Mark said, I'll put everything on your desk that you're gonna need. You need it later. Okay, our first workshop stands adjourned, and now we open the second chronological order. And the purpose of this workshop is to open seal proposals on administration of the CDBG project M0106 and M0109, and to open seal proposals for engineering CDB truck project M0106 and M0109 and rank them. Clerk will compile ranking sheets for selections. Well, if you'll recall, we did this last month, and because of a requirement from whoever our funding agency is, DE, is it DEO or is it I think so. Yeah. So we have sealed engineering and we have sealed administrative, offerings, from Dewberry. And we have sealed proposals from Fred Clark for, those same services. Absent the attorney or market's experience, I'm going to these appear to be we've got one for 06, one for 09, one for 06, and one for 09. We only have administrative proposals here, we only have engineering proposals here. And we need one of each. It looks to me like that's becomes a moot point almost, that we have these, we don't have one. So if I'm going to rank engineering, I rank Dewberry 1 and Dewberry 1. If I'm going to rank administration, I rank Fred Fox 1 and Fred Fox 1 on the respective things. We can open these and discuss them. I won't know much about, we'll all have a concept there. Why don't we do that? Y'all need to see these. Y'all each get one of them, as a matter of fact. Everyone needs to do that. That's it.
You got cities?
Here you go, Roger.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Y'all had yourself in place with it.
Almost like me.
Watch your arm over there.
Johnson, which way out of
Girl, I'd back up.
That looks like it's small, but it's.
Roger's a winner.
Okay. Thank you. And one for each of you. And one for me. And one for Margaret. Thank you. Okay. Margaret. Okay. A representative here from either firm. It appears to be a standard package, knowledge, experience, staffing, et cetera, to do the job. Familiarity with the particular job, et cetera, and all what these rankings are to do is to pick the more qualified and of applicants. Is there a better qualified firm than either one of these out there someplace? There may be, but they didn't apply. I've read some of these before. If you have a question on any tab, I will try to answer that for you from experience, but
Roger, are these the ones like when we tried to do it the first time and we only had 2 that applied and then we went back again and we still didn't get no more?
yeah, if you remember when we did that, actually the DEO said that you can't do it
Right.
unless you re-advertise, and if you only get 2, you can choose
Right.
those 2. So this is This is what we did last month and had to redo it.
Okay.
That seems a little, I don't know exactly what it seems. It's certainly time consuming, it cost us a month.
Right.
And these are for the well rehab and for the Second Avenue, culvert replacement down at the foot of the hill. I wish that Cliff were here, that I could ask him one question about this Second Avenue replacement. Everything is relative in its own way, but, Bill and John, you live right in town growing up. Judy, I'm not sure how often your family travels, your person travels into town, all down Second Avenue. That has been a bridge, a culvert, a bridge, a head wall. That's changed out over the years many times. You remember when it was a wooden bridge? And it used to be a running creek, or, yeah, a running creek. Now I don't know what's happened to watersheds here or whatever, but now it's just kind of, when it rains, it runs, and when it runs out, behind your house and your dad's house, before that, your granddaddy's house, before that, there was water ran through all the time. Your granddaddy and my granddaddy joined, and our cows ran water together.
Now it just stay stagnant.
I would like to, and I'm sure Cliff is a great engineer, and I'm sure he'll do that, but I'd like to make sure that thing is in the right elevation, because we have, in recent years, seen water over that road. You can't, that drainage area, I'd like that culvert to be large enough that it's going to take the water when it needs to, and that road don't be closed for water. So that would be the only question I had if it was here, I think, on that one. Shall we look through them more? You can take these with you. If not, we'll look at the other ones. Be the paper will cook, but not paper. Let's see.
But they're not.
Does everybody have an 06 and an 01? Yeah, an 06 and an 01. These are for grant administration, for the same grants we just talked about on the engineering, the well rehab and the Second Street drainage project and road project. Now these may have some fee related. It does have a completion date, and if you look under the last tab,
That's what we read.
I'm looking in 06, but I think it'll also be notified, the same thing under tab 5. There are fees. This is what they will charge. And had we had a second or more than one for each of these, we could compare and look at that, but these are the ones. And I'm going to guess without having over here, without having the grant in front of me, that these are the allowable fee amounts. $32,294 for the well project and $27,388 for the, program delivery circle. $34,388 for the street program, the training. Any discussion on any of these? I think what we are allowed to do, and let's do it, if the attorney says that it's not stand, that it won't stand, then we will make a second motion next week. But I think what we can do, if you agree with my interpretation of what we talked about, is that we can rank Fred Fox first for the water project and Fred Fox first for the drainage project, respectively, and that we can rank Newberry first for each of those. There is no second. I don't know you have a rank. If they just one, that's
You just rank them first.
But we can do that and have it on the consent agenda. And next week when we vote on it, it will be approved, and we won't have to spend time looking at these if I'm correct. Is that okay? And you're taking the minutes, right?
Yes.
Take them tonight. So just say that we forward this to the clerk's office for inclusion on the consent agenda.
It's good to know when you find these, you go back to the sheets.
Is there any discussion on these projects here? We start at 5 and it's about 7 or 8 minutes, so we can, any discussion on what we had. Okay, we'll take recess till 5 o'clock, get a drink of water if we need to, or.
Did you get turned off, John?
I ain't got it.
You got 2 inches yesterday. No, wait a minute. Yeah, right, who's doing that?
Yeah, I'll tell you,
And about
I can't sleep though.
3.5 for the whole week.
You are.
I've been waiting for Tommy to call me just about all week. It's supposed to have
You did
moved
good.
about getting more hay fertilized.
Hey,
I talked to him, I think, last Friday.
Yeah, just wanted to-
Again.
He wouldn't have to really dress up, he got the cigar and everything.
sister's gonna be good friends.
Yeah,
Get it from the store.
yeah, that's true. She's scared,
And the road hadn't washed out either.
You know?
Oh, good.
You're ready?
Well, can't, I worked on all the other days, several
Yeah, but
built that road in front of, at least put that,
yeah, some of it.
in front of my house.
Has that been done this week?
That was done about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
They haven't done anything on the core, have they? They got bad driveways over there. Who lives over there in front of Shirley Wright? I think it used to be, maybe, is that where Cajun lives?
I can't hear you.
Where does Cajun live? Does he live over in front of Shirley?
Caitlin.
Cajun.
Oh, Caitlin, he lives over there somewhere, I don't know.
That's,
He's right across the road back there. There's one house there on the front and then.
That road the driveway you're thinking about there in front of Shirley is gonna be one of Miss Haley's daughters. I think.
that be one up front.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Cajun may live back in behind that, yeah.
You need to tell Tom.
back up the other way. The next road north there, her sister lives over there, and it's down to the cook. It's out by the cook. And you can still get in and out of it, you can go just a little bit further up there. It's got a big hole in it. One above that one is, but not as bad. The other way on both sides of the road, they're bad.
But see, when you get my age, people forget about all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's why it's telephone.
My wife tells me, well, let me pack your bag.
Well, I gotta walk a minute.
Mr. Parks over there, brother.
Oh, that's all good, all right.
Yes, sir. I like Karen, come see Judy. Yes. It looks nice.
Thank you.
Sure does. Makes you look a lot younger.
Oh, good.
I was trying to double it since he was over at my belly. That's all.
I got it cut off.
Wonder what happened to that old white haired woman? I used to sit
Oh, that old lady.
He will get, Tim tell you about his hair, and where he was somewhere in court or something.
I went to court. I think I was 21. I was 20 or 21. I had to go
You
to
got a
court.
blessing on the weather, didn't you, over the weekend? It was
I was in there.
15
my hair
degrees
was
cooler than
going
usually is.
My hair gets longer and curls.
Like, hey,
And, yeah, and,
There's no doubt it was hot, but
well,
everything's
my hair was all
relative.
curly, and I had to ask her.
People that stand on this end here actually had a breeze the whole parade.
Washington County, and she was just about, I was sitting out there, real Great Washington.
Yeah.
I know.
Sitting out there
There's a
on the
lot
steps,
of
going up the third floor.
There was a good crowd, it was a big crowd,
We haven't seen a crowd like that in several years.
several years.
Now, what in the world? So I looked up, and she was like, I just wanted to let you know. She said, I love them girls. She said, them blue eyes is lighting my day. I was like, oh,
Hey, how we doing, bro? Been alive?
Doing pretty good.
Good.
Staying busy, but.
You ain't been busy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was funny, that was funny.
I ain't had no hair since I was 18. They cut 2.5 feet off my back. I was one of them rebels in high school.
Because I saw back here where it's,
Now,
she said that, I guess
30.
when Robin was doing it.
32 years later, I want to live that thing.
On all that.
Not bad off your high school.
Some of
I took it
it
down
was
Once over.
trying to go through.
As soon as I graduated, moved out of the house, I got it down short, ain't had it long.
I was trying to figure out by looking
I
at
did
it,
it because my stepfather
if
hated
the
it.
ones that are just.
What's going on, bro?
Is the ones that are trying to get assistance, or is it the ones that's
my
not?
definitely brother Henry, he was going to this third round cancer.
The one that's trying to get assistance, are they high? Is it the ones that's all high?
Everything's ready, and all ladies.
So it was surely
Well,
like that.
they laid too, but
Yeah,
they said,
They're fine.
But they did say that's all gone.
Yeah, it's bad.
We still got
It wasn't worth it.
Well, it's too long ago, we made a rule, that way you don't have to be.
I'm trying to find the Trump, two big sniper, two of them,
Well, you know, people get to the conclusion, they say, well, if they ain't gonna pay their water bills, I ain't either, and it exploded, you'll have an explosion.
If we do our money and
Where's that water bill? How
it's
much
at the
is
very
that?
back, it was at the very back of the
I'm not
market.
going for it, I went to the booth,
Yeah.
that one right there, yeah.
It was a lot.
Lots of them appear to be high just for the,
And most of them's all the way across.
there's one's over $1,000 this month. This is 5 o'clock. We'll call this workshop for the town of Wausau to order again. We welcome everyone to be here to be a part of this. This workshop is preliminary to our meeting, which will be next Thursday. And it's designed for us to talk to our employees and other items we may wish to put on the agenda for next week's meeting. Okay. Okay. I had in my hand just one moment ago the agenda.
Okay, borrow mine.
Yep, yeah.
Thank you. And this is, I think when I turned it, a little bit of that public book stuck up in here, I appreciate you letting me.
Yeah, see.
Okay, all right, we'll start our workshop tonight. We'll start our employee workshop, first of all. And, Paul Mark, you seem to have floated to the top. You're number one on the agenda.
Well, we're starting soccer tonight, so I need to go. I really ain't got much. We did a fun day, sessions. We really didn't make anything, but we got to meet a bunch of people. Started soccer tonight, sign up still. We're joining Chipley like we did last year, and we'll practice down here, then we'll go up there and play. And hopefully we'll have a good season and we can have a good quarter with it.
Will all your games, Steve, be at Chipley?
Yes, sir, just like last year.
Just like last.
We'll practice down here and then we'll go up there and play 2 days a week.
Okay.
How'd your summer ball season turn out?
Well, I remember I wasn't here.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I am glad to be back.
Okay.
But, yeah, well, hopefully, the way we get this field up there fixed, hopefully next year we'll go from baseball, softball, to flag football, to soccer, take the Christmas off, and go right back into baseball, softball. So we'll have something almost all year round for all the kids. It'll just be a continuous. And as soon as soccer gets off, we are gonna start signing up for adult softball team. I did get a very good reply online about that. So as soon as they get soccer going, then we're gonna try to get adult, softball team going, and then get some of these churches and start playing them. So, and maybe we'll get Mr. Roger Dale every other week, and co-captain.
I'm very in favor of that, but I think I've probably graduated to the
Well, y'all gotta remember, you come from the stage where y'all used to pick up donkeys and run around the field. You know,
Yes, we,
It's a long time.
we citizens,
that-
we pick no donkeys up.
yeah. Then I will ask you, something if the council will allow me first. You know, we say, I go everything relative, so sometimes if we say what something was, that's just a point of reference.
Yes.
When Carl Eric Beal was our recreation director, he had, and T.D. Mercer, some others maybe, if we told Steve what we want in terms of recreation, or we just, he's kind of been turned loose is not the word, that sounds kind of not kind, but just kind of turned loose to see what season is coming on, and then we'll do that. And what I'm getting at one time, our recreation facility was equipped with 2 basketball courts, 4 goals, 2 courts. We had basketball in the winter. We had volleyball. It was almost year round, I think. We had volleyball and some things like that. What we seem to be doing, Steve, and we haven't seen anything any differently, what we seem to be doing is just taking those traditional mainline sports.
Mhm.
High schools used to do the same thing.
Yeah.
You could have a track team, or you could have anything else, and they may have got $50 or $100, something like that. And the football team would get 10,000.
Oh, yeah.
And things like that. So they was, how do you decide on what sport we're going to have, or what activity we're going to have?
We really haven't really decided. I mean, we're just seeing what people want to do. It's like Vernon and Chipley always got tackle football. I mean, we got the funding to we're gonna put a football and soccer field up there, but we just have to go from there. I mean, the soccer was just something we added on that we talked about last year, trying, and it worked out pretty good. I mean, we had 2 teams, and we gave kids that didn't want to play football something to do. Because you got kids that want to play flag football, don't want to play tackle. You got kids that want to play soccer, don't want to play football. And just kind of what we have here in Wausau is very limited compared to the other cities. But we're trying to do something where everybody inside Wausau and the community has something to do besides running the streets. Now, I'm at y'all's call. Y'all tell me.
It's not a complaint, it's just for understanding, but, so when you say we decided, or we talked about, you're talking about the parents of the children that have.
No, we did. We talked about this last year.
Well, we did the soccer stuff like that.
Yeah,
How do you go from why do you bring it to us to talk about? How do you,
Because you're my boss.
no, I didn't say why, I said how. Where's the idea birth?
The idea is what we can do with what limitations we have. Soccer is perfect for us right now because we can practice on the baseball fields. We got a communication with Chipley that we can go up there and play against Chipley, and they have bigger fields where they can regulate and play. And then we can practice down here with our kids in it. Now, once we get the field done over on Rogers Park, then we'll have a facility where we can be more broadband and bring more cities in here and play against them. But we have to start and get this clientele, the kids, coming here to play so we can be. Is that where you're going at?
You gotta have somebody to play.
I'm not sure. I'm thinking you came to us and said, how about soccer?
Yeah, I came to y'all last year.
Why did you think about soccer?
Well, me and Brock was talking to Chipley,
Okay.
and they have soccer.
Okay, all right.
And then I said, well,
So
let me-
as the need presents itself, then you just try to move toward the need.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. And because I'm talking about basketball and volleyball now.
Well, you know,
But
when Ms. Jackson had the director, we did actually have funding to put basketball goals up under the old palace,
Mhm.
and it just went away. Now,
You didn't have anybody, you didn't have,
Well,
I think a lot of basketball going away, a lot of vandalism and stuff. abuse.
Yeah,
You couldn't
Yeah.
have those people who abuse you.
yeah. I remember when, we always remember. I remember when, T.D. Mercer and Carl Larry, well, John Hicks's boys were still at school, one of them went on to become a coach and all kind of things like that. And they play basketball. What we didn't have there was organization and coaches and leagues.
Right.
Now that's developed over the years, John. You remember, used to, if the men played softball, we was just down there, Derwin Hanson or Elliot Taylor or whoever it was, they stepped up, they became the coach. And you played the ladies, and I'm not sure how that happened. I don't, y'all had maybe a coach or manager or whatever you call it. But we had enough, we had some in Chippewa playing some of ours, so there was some, I don't know how we got together, but now we're focusing a lot on the young people, and there's been a lot of an evolution of organization and coaching and management and things like that, which is a good.
We still have a problem getting coaches and stuff. I mean,
Are you-
the kids want to
I
play.
think it's
but
good
the kids
with
just don't want to
organization.
play. It's hard to get the parents to participate sometimes.
I was just wondering, I'm not suggesting that you start basketball back,
No.
but keep
Well,
you to the
honestly-
ground if there's a need out there. We're fixing to have a great facility down there.
Well, I talked to Ms. Margaret, and I did bring it up to Dewberry and everything. Once we get the palace fixed, you know, about the concrete, make sure everything's sealed, that we can put 2 basketballs in it and do, because basketball's during winter. And that's the reason why I said take the winter off, because we don't have a facility to do basketball. Because the old field, the old ones out in the weather, I mean, we can't use them, but as we grow, we go down the road and get the palace done, then, you know, we can try that. I want something all year. When I came in here and took over the rec director, we had one thing, that was baseball.
Yeah.
And I came to y'all and said, look, I want to get something all year. I'm not a 2 or 3 month person. I work 7 days a week, so God put me in this position for these communities, for these kids. I want to give them something.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not doing it about money, I'm not doing it about that. I'm doing it because we get these kids something to do. This officer right here ain't chasing them. You know, I got an older son that's been in and out of prison. Back then, he didn't have nothing to do. He said, run with gangs. I took him to church every Sunday. We can't help that, you know? But we can give these kids a chance in this community and around this town to have something to do. Now, if they do it, it's a different story. It's like the old saying, you lead horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Yeah.
But as a community and as Christians, I feel like if we put the opportunity out there, we may save somebody's life down the road. You don't know. And I enjoy it. I mean, I really enjoy it.
When John Carter was county commissioner, he said the more money we spend on our children here, we don't have to spend them with Mr. Peel, who was the sheriff at that time, over there, he went to the jail.
That's right.
Volleyball used to be real big, you know, they'd have Tuesday and Thursday nights, if I remember right. And a lot of the older ladies, I'm not saying people my age now, but I'm talking about younger, in the 40s, 50s, they enjoyed that. I mean, you know, I don't know, I just throw that out, okay?
My wife played before she was over.
Yeah, I played volleyball before I was older, lady.
Sounds like you've got a plan. What do you see happening from now?
Soccer restoration. We work on practice, but it's been raining. I don't want to get on the field, so I'm just going to go up there for the next hour and just take restoration. Whoever wants to sign the kids up, be up there. And hopefully we'll start Tuesday night practicing.
Before we get into the spring sign up and everything like that, we built a batting cage and some other things when Mr. Walksonham was here.
We're gonna put.
Is everything down there in order? What about our playground equipment?
Well, we got the funding for that, and we're gonna have to replace it. Hopefully everything comes to the end, because as Margaret said, that I guess Community South is the one's got the funding. But I think she's got everything going now where we can start putting the new playground in, take the liability playground out, and then you know, we gotta build two dugouts, and some block dugouts, we're gonna knock them down and, put where the parents can see the kids, which, I think might be a bad idea, but, cause you know how kids might see the parents, they won't listen to coaches. But, I mean, hopefully the rest of this year and first of next year, that place will be like a total transportation transfer. It'll be somewhere, it'll be a lot better. I mean, we've taken a lot of hits over the hurricane and everything else. But, I think y'all decided not to do the second splash pad, but do the new playground. That's what we really need. And I think y'all decided not to do the big slide because of liability. Do the big slide because of liability. I mean, I think that's what they used to. They used to like jumping off that thing.
I might have missed that meeting. And I don't know what Mr. Carter's opinion is. Our former attorney said, unless we're negligent, we have no more liability down there than we do anything else. Did we discuss the big slide?
We did, I don't remember about the big slide, but I do know that we were gonna take, instead of doing a splash pad, we was gonna
On the
change
playground.
all the playground
Yeah,
stuff.
I remember that. But,
I like to have 20-story.
What do you-
slide.
heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you need from the council?
Just need y'all's blessing and prayers and soccer.
It's gotta be 20 foot tall, metal and hot.
Well, that's what the last one
When you
was.
go down, you gotta hear yourself just burning.
Mr. Park, you have anything for Mr. Hallmark?
I don't.
Mr. Carter?
No.
Mr. Wilson?
No, I'm fine.
Wait.
Not that I know of.
Thank you for coming, Steve.
Thank you.
Sometimes these interviews are quick. I hope that means that everything is well. I hate to ask any of you to come. Tim, you come farther. I hate to ask any of you to come and not be productive, but this does keep us in touch with each other.
And next meeting, I'll have enough time where I can print up my minutes.
Okay, sounds good.
I just didn't have nothing this because I just got back.
Thank you, thank you.
Y'all have a blessed evening.
Thanks, Tim. Mr. Tim?
I've gotten back up, it's gonna work, works great, just done what we need to get done, we're gonna fix 2 big leaks, so that's working. Dallas is doing the prison training this week, I'm supposed to do it next week. Dallas did say that before we can get them, we have to have vests, signs, we still don't have none of that. I know Dallas said while he was there this week, he's gonna get a list of what we need before we can get the inmates. Other than that, I don't have anything.
Okay, has that been given to Margaret?
Yes.
Okay. Anything to report on Mr. Carter? Y'all are working
No,
well together?
everything seems to be doing pretty good. I don't know if Mark told y'all, but I got cussed out the other day by somebody right back here. And then I guess it scared Dallas a little bit because the boy kept riding by Dallas's house. I cut the grass before, right away, right down here. I don't know the address, but nobody was there. I know I cut it last year and I actually cut like the whole front yard, and they made a big ordeal about it, but with the parade, I figured it'd be nice to at least cut the right of way a little bit, and only made 3 passes, and when people got there, they made a big ordeal about it. And he weighed him down, and he went straight cussing me, and I just went back to cut the grass. And Mark,
Is it the small wood frame house?
the cops have been over there, it's got the silver Kia minivan.
Yeah, it's a small.
Yeah, so I don't know the guy.
John.
I don't know who he is, but, because he said that he was gonna, said he wasn't joking, he was gonna whoop me, and I told him he could try. So I told him. And,
If he threatens you, you should probably call us and tell us how scared you are, so we can charge you.
Yeah.
well, I told him, he called Miss Margaret, and then he came up here to Miss Margaret, And Miss Margaret's like, well, I didn't think you said what you said to him. And I was like, well, I did say that. I did say if he wasn't lazy and he'd get it and do it himself, I wouldn't have to do it. I may not, I probably should have said that. But when you're sitting there and you're getting cussed at, and you got two grown men that's out there, you know what I'm saying? All I was doing was what I was told to do. I didn't know I wasn't allowed to cut, you know, because he was saying that the county don't own us. And I don't work with the county, I work with the city. He's like, well, who's your supervisor? I'm calling the city. I work for the city. Smart, town hall. So I just got back along when I went to cutting grass. As he kept coming towards me, and when I stood up, he stopped. When he stopped, I got back along and just left. 'Cause I don't, yeah. So I did tell Miss Margaret, she knows, and she said if anything would happen again, because they kept riding around at one point, and Dallas, he's like, I said, I'm not being mistaken for you. So.
I think the council, rather that your response had been a little more refined, but.
Should have kept my mouth shut. I should apologize and turn around.
My opinion, council, is that he and Dallas should not have to take any more abuse than the ladies who work in the office. You may have to leave the situation and come back and report it, and if Margaret call SO or, I don't care if you call, but you need to make sure that it's documented, and apparently you did, you told Margaret, but, just diffuse the situation. If you
engage.
If I give bad advice, Mr. Cook, please stop me. If you are accosted, if you are assaulted and you have to defend yourself, that's one thing, but if you can leave the situation before it reaches that, that's the preferred action.
Ms. Marge told me not to cut the grass anymore.
I'm familiar with the gentleman. He is not afraid to file complaints all day long with everybody all over the state. He will do that. He will continuously complain. 3 or 4 months down the road, when it's all bygone memory to you, you may just get a random complaint. I've had deputies have encounters with him, perfectly legal roadside stops, traffic stops, and file a complaint.
He said he knew me from riding the bus back in school, but I didn't ride the bus. I drove to school. No, I'm serious. I drove to school from 12 years old on up, which I know is not right, but I did work for Sam Mitchell, and from the time I was 12 to the time I was 18, and he told me, he said, as long as you don't do nothing stupid, he said, so, but like I said, I didn't ride the bus, so I don't know the way. I ain't never seen him before in my life.
You're divorcing lots of information.
Miss Margaret said he knew me, and I don't know.
Who are we talking about?
I don't know.
The house, it's the Doug John's house, that's what he's talking about.
I don't know the people.
But.
Is it the Doug
She
Johnson?
said it was the third or fourth guy that the girls had there.
Now, that right of way, I'm not sure when he came there, but that right of way goes up under that house. We abandoned 15 feet because the house was already in the right of way. So that right of way goes, and my preference is that we continue to mow it like we do every other street in town. When it's time for that street to be mowed, it needs to be mowed like every other street.
I try to make at least 2 passes when I do right of ways.
2 passes is what I do. 2 passes, don't mow up to his porch. I mean, I don't have a problem with that, but 2 passes, whatever all the other streets get, that's my opinion. If the council is.
May I make a recommendation to try to diffuse his issue? I recommend that maybe y'all send him a letter on behalf of the town council or the town that says, we understand there may be a discrepancy about right of way. If you would like to come before the board and discuss the right of way and the easements and things, that y'all may be able to clearly map it out for him. He probably doesn't own that structure. He probably is a tenant.
Yeah.
So you may have a landlord there that might get his attention. I don't know. He's a fireball to deal with.
Make sure that's in the notes to Margaret, please.
I imagine when him stood up off the lawnmower and probably saw the size difference. He'll get loud with you. But
Tim, how's our equipment now?
The equipment's good. We're trying to get I know we just had to fix the SCAD zero turn. We just got it back. But we're trying to fix the mower deck for the John Deere full behind tractor. One of the pulleys are bad. 2 years ago, had to go get another spindle for it, and they don't sell the whole assembly. Now they sell each individual little piece, and you gotta buy each individual, and it's over $200. And even looking it up online, it's still over $200. But you still have to buy each individual piece, because it helps keeping some of the ditches cut down that get pretty high. But other than that, all the equipment's good. Other than the work truck, I'm still having problems with sometimes we have to buy relay after relay. They keep going through starter relays for some reason. I don't understand it. I don't know why Ford put a fuse box in the front over everything that's hot. I don't know why it gets so hot that the relays. So, but other than that, the
Have you had it in a shop other than your back?
we did take it to the shop, and they said there was a recall on the fuse box for one of the wires from the fuel pump. I haven't had an issue with the fuel pump. It's been the ignition or the starter.
There is a recall on it though?
That was for the fuel pump relay,
Okay,
but they already fixed that.
okay. Have they not been able to diagnose the starter relay?
All the Ford dealership did was give us another relay, and then Nichols said that there was no problem with it, that it was just the fuel pump relay. So, I have no idea. Other than that, it knocks. Even changing the oil, you can even put a little bit of Lucas in there, but it knocks. So, we're taking it easy on it, we're getting by on it. I know on the van for the prisoners, we full sealed it enough that when it rains, it's not leaking it no more. So, that's a good
Short
thing.
block on that cost us.
We'd have to get a price on it.
At least.
How many miles that truck got on?
103,000.
That's all?
That's not any money.
Ford, when they did the 3 valves, they did a very,
Well, it's 103,000 inside the wall. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Well, I'm not sure. There's a lot of traffic here, and we had previous maintenance people that wound a lot of tires. 3 trips a day to chip in, et cetera.
Yeah.
So all them miles is not Wausau miles. Is the truck all right except the block, except the motor?
yes. Other than that, it seems to be pretty good.
What
Other
do you
than it does-
estimate, what would you estimate a motor job that would cost?
I don't know. Ford is expensive. Ford is expensive. So I have no idea, especially with a 3 valve motor.
I just had a car down there that was 2,500.
2,500? So if it was 3,500, that's way less than a new truck.
Way less.
Especially right now.
Yeah.
Everything's expensive.
Mr. Park?
That's way less than a used truck.
Yeah.
You drove it.
Calling on your past experience in the automotive field, would you mind to check around and see if you could bring some prices back to the council on what we might could do? Is that something you could do for us?
I'll do it, yes.
Is that okay with everybody? If you do it, we appreciate that. Our people need to have something to work on. Anybody have a question for Tim? I'm asking lots of things that I think about, but anybody else got a question?
Tim, what motor is that truck got?
5.4 3 valve or almost Triton. I know it's a 5.4 liter 3 valve.
So it's a Triton 3 valve, right?
I'm pretty sure it's a Triton,
Okay.
but it has a 3 valve 5.4.
Gets good gas mileage, don't it?
No.
We're tracking on it,
Anybody else have a question? Tim, I have one more. How well stocked are we on expendable supplies and things like that? I still see lots of trips to chip, winter chip. Are we going to chip the lot, going to burn on the lots? Can you make up a list and go maybe on Thursday and get all you need for next week?
We try to do that, but sometimes we have a leak or, can't predict the leaks. So, when we do try to go up there, try to get a little bit by bulk, that way we have a little bit extra. I know that most of, PVC pipes around here are 3/4. Some of them are bigger, some of them aren't. So what we try to do is if we have a leak, we try to get it dug up. Even if it's just PVC leak, we try to get it dug up to where we can get a list of what we need, to where if we have to go up there, we can get everything we need. Sometimes it don't work, sometimes we run into more problems than what we have.
Can we buy that book? Can we buy that pipe and book? Dave asked about it, and it may be available, I'm not sure. The old plumbing place up here, High Plumbing, it's got that rack out there that had all this piping. It may be that we could, DOT has bought that now, maybe, well, if the contract, it may be the contractors, I'm not sure if that works, but if we could get that and get it on the ground here, it may be that we could buy both. We could buy enough PVC to last 2 years or 5 years. I don't know how, I don't know what the shelf life is.
It's mainly fittings.
Sir?
Mainly fittings is what we go through. The fittings for the PVC and stuff like that. I know, we went a few times to get the connectors for the actual service lines and stuff, and they just haven't had it.
Could we not, from a plumbing supply company, buy a box full of fittings?
I know they got one in Santa Rosa that last time we called them that they will actually bring it to, they'll ship it to us. But there's something about registering for it. We got to register for it or something, I guess. I don't know if Mark's done it yet or not. But that's what we're waiting on for them. That way, all we gotta do is call them, give them a list of what we need, and they'll bring it straight to us.
Yeah, that's what I was accustomed to seeing happen. Even out of our electrical and plumbing stuff, lots of it came from Dothan, but anything else you need to tell us?
No, sir, that's it.
Ms. Carter, you have anything?
I just got a suggestion. Next time you mow the grass, don't take a whip.
Tim, what year is that truck?
2010.
I'll have you some prices, next Thursday.
Great, thank you. Mr. Walsh, have anything?
No.
Ms. Williams?
So
Thank
am
you.
I being told are y'all gonna try to write something up to that guy? Are y'all want me to cut that guy's grass still or no?
It's our right of way.
My opinion is you cut at least 2 passes there like you do everywhere else.
Okay.
If you feel threatened and all like that, and if you have to pull off,
Just come back and
do
talk.
that, and then we'll get the help. But she has a note here tomorrow to communicate with him about the right of way. But, we don't want you hurt, and we don't want you involved in an assault of some kind or have to defend yourself.
Just crank it up and mow real fast by there before it comes out, because that's not much grass there.
You get here about 6 o'clock, don't you? Just
It's about 6:15.
do it before we wake up.
Carry a big stick, pretend it's for dogs.
But just be careful and do diffuse any confrontation.
I can
as best you
always wait
can.
until there's no vehicle there, just come by there, make 2 passes and get gone. That's what I did last time.
I think, you, Margaret, maybe especially Margaret, can make a call to the SO and quicker somebody would be able to whatever a post officer is to help you if there was if it seemed to be violent, but don't, try not to get into a situation like that. I'm with Ms. Carter, don't take it if you have it. Okay, thank you.
Can I give them kudos? They do a fantastic job. Them two have made this town way better than it's been in a long time.
It looks good driving through town, don't it?
It sure is.
I do have a question. Over here on Second Ave, the house that the guy bought and just redid, I don't know the address. They keep putting piles of debris in the ditch on Second Ave. We have picked up 3 piles of debris in the last 3 weeks.
You talking about the house that they've got for sale?
No,
It was
Jackson
for
Hall,
sale,
right
it
on
just-
the control house.
Oh,
The Brown Mercer House.
Yeah,
Who?
Jackson Hall,
huh?
Jackson Hall, they rented it out.
And the renters are putting their garbage in the,
Not the garbage, the debris, they cleaned up the
oh,
brush around their house,
okay.
and they're putting it in the ditch for the workers to pick up. Art said they would pick it up.
We do that twice, 3 times a year or something like that. We do that, or if we have somebody call that wants it done, but they shouldn't be putting it in the ditch. They should be putting it,
I know 2 piles have been in the ditch. The other pile's been on the side of the hill.
okay.
But they're,
Can we ask Margaret to let them know that they have to place it in a certain place, the edge of their own driveway or something like that? It don't need to be in that ditch, I don't think. Is that okay with everybody? With
Where's
that?
that at?
The old Brown Mercer house. Close to you, Karen. Thank you, Tim. And thank you for the good job y'all did before Sunday. Our town looked really nice.
There
Look,
were a lot of people here today.
oh yeah, lots
Lots of
of,
people turned out.
we hadn't got the 1980s and 90s crowd back yet, but we're headed in the right direction, it appears. There was a lot of people, there's a lot of people to pray.
that was the first awesome thing that my wife's ever been to.
Yeah,
She loved it. I mean, we had stayed for like 2 hours, but she loved it.
that's good. Mr. Cook, I know that you're here to see us. Do you, we need to see our fire department, but I don't know how quickly you need to leave.
I just needed to know if you had any questions of me or the sheriff or anything.
Well, the sheriff has only talked to me. The council doesn't know why you're here. He called me today again. If you want to just briefly explain what we're asking for, then I'll fill in the blanks if you.
The sheriff's asking about license plate readers. He's trying to get them into different communities. A license plate reader is something that mounts stationary. It stays there, it's affixed. And not just law enforcement, but other agencies and things use them, but it's very helpful for law enforcement. What it does, it reads more than just license plates, but they call it an LPR, license plate reader, because it's fine enough that a car driving by at highway speed, it tells you that car that quick. It can read that license plate coming and going. So, to give you an example, if we have an incident in Chipley and they're traveling the 77 corridor through town, and we're like, well, you know, we had a theft. Somebody stole somebody's utility trailer, as simple as that. Somebody in town said, hey, it was a silver truck. So we can pull again some information and we can look through the time frame and we can look and see if that vehicle run through here, pulling a silver truck, and it gives us a direction of travel. So, okay, we know whoever stole it went further on down. It's very good if you have a tag number, because I can plug in a tag number. We get a call from another agency, hey, we're looking for little Joey. Little Joey drives a silver car, this is his tag number, we got arrest warrants for him. I don't know, but we can plug it in, and guess what? Little Joey's passed through Pioneer and 77 in the past couple hours, so we know he's in the area. We send officers to the area to look for him, those kind of things. And that's where it comes in extremely handy. We have the fortune of communicating with other law enforcement agencies, and they have them all around us. They have them in Jackson, Bay, Gulf. We're on these little chat groups, and they asking each other all the time, well, little Washington County, we're not able to contribute. And a lot of times the guys are passing through here, they'll get an alert that they were on Highway 20 is a very popular one. They were over in Walton County, and then somebody over in Gulf or somewhere says, oh, we got them over here. so we can establish a timeline. You know, and we have a lot of people traveling through the area. Bay County has a lot more crime than we do. And when we go to court, you can establish a timeline that these people are coming down from Alabama, breaking the law. We might have 1 or 2 incidents, and we don't know that they did 5 or 6 down in Bay County, a string of burglaries. But somebody got a suspect vehicle on camera in their driveway or in a parking lot. Well, lo and behold, we may see on our LPRs that they come up through 77 or 79. And it's just a better way, or another way, I should say, to protect our communities from some of these things that are coming through. And some of these things we would put in there, I guess you would call like a hot list, a hot sheet. So if there's wanted criminals or stolen vehicles, when they pass through, if we have one sitting here at 77 in Pioneer, boom, we get an alert. It alerts us, stolen vehicle just went through this location. We pull it up, we see it, and we start trying to box it in. I mean, it's not something that we get notified yesterday or tomorrow that it happened yesterday. We get notified immediately. And so we can send somebody to box them in, because chances are if they're stealing vehicles or traveling through the area, they're breaking other laws and they're a damage to our community. So we want to remove them. And it allows us to go, all right, they were southbound 77 5 minutes ago or 2 minutes ago. We can get somebody coming from Greenhead or notify Bay County to come up, and we can try to catch these people. But there's all kind of homicide suspects that travel through these areas. If you watch the news, you'll see a lot of crazy people are caught in Bay County. They'll go break the law north of us, kill people, rob things, and for some silly reason, they travel through and want to spend their last few dollars and dope up down in Panama Beach. They do it in Destin and stuff. But it's amazing over the years the number of people they catch. Well, why is that Ohio homicide suspect got caught on the beach? Well, they go live it up for the last little bit because they know they're going to prison. But they pass through here, and there's no telling what they're doing while they're passing through here. So if we can hem them up, and like I said, the sheriff is asking every community that he can ask that can help to come on board. As we get more funding with the sheriff's office, we're going to add to or take over the ones that we have probably, but we don't have any, and you know, it's county budget, so that's all he's asking. Is the sheriff saying that the community could come together and help that? They wouldn't go anywhere else. If Wausau assisted, it's not like we're going to, hey, we want to borrow your cameras, your LPRs, and stick them down at Greenhead. It's not the way that works. They're here, they're yours. And it also, once we get these up and going, it gives us access to the system so that we can read others too. We don't have to call Bay County and say, hey, have you seen this? We can log into their system and pull up theirs to see if the people that we're tracking have been going down there and doing things. And if you have somebody stealing here, and the rumor is that they're selling stuff at the pawn shops in Panama, or they're selling stuff at the pawn shops in Dothan, we can check these LPRs, and lo and behold, I got them going making trips to Panama. And then Lynn got them on theirs down there. So I nail them down. When we get to court, we show a better pattern of behavior that they're stealing here and they're dealing in stolen property there. That allows us to charge them for stealing here and dealing in stolen property at the pawn shops down there because it's in a different county. Same thing with up in Alabama and things. So that's all the sheriff's asking. And it's about, they would be, for Wausau, they'd be Wausau's. Vernon's would be Vernon's. It's not like we would get them together and say, hey, can we borrow these and never bring them back? They would be mounted there, fixed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they'd be fixed on the stop line in the middle of town?
Wherever it was decided to put them. A lot of times the best place to put them is a busy intersection. You'll ride around, something you've seen them and don't even know you're looking at them. You drive through and you see a patrol car that's got some weird looking box this size mounted to the trunk of the car. Bigger agencies have them. The highway patrol, if you go up in Dothan, you drive up a stoplight and see a police car, you've got these crazy little boxes mounted on the outside of the trunk. That thing's riding by reading every tag it sees. Bam, 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 bam. Bigger towns have oodles of them scattered around all over town.
The sheriff spoke to me briefly at Fun Day as we were getting into the parade, and I told him that I couldn't commit, none of us couldn't commit funds, but that we would entertain that tonight and next Thursday if it was acceptable to the council.
Yeah.
The illustration that he used, and we've been very fortunate over the years because the junior stores are notorious for holdups and things like that. We've had a couple here over 30 years, but not many. But he said if we had a robbery and an assault, armed robbery and assault here, and we had one, we know when they got back on the roof, they went north or south.
Yes, sir.
They can get to the next intersection and start blocking before they get there, so things like that. If it's a kidnap,
Child abduction.
if they don't show up going north and they can go right down Hunter Vernon and stop them at 277, if they know what direction they're going in.
Correct. It allows us to put our resources where they're most needed, as opposed to us riding around in this fish pond just looking for a fish. It tells us the fish is traveling this direction, we can go cut him off.
The sheriff has been to Vernon, and tonight he is in Ebro making the same presentation that Mr. Cook is here with us. What I committed to the sheriff was to bring it back here and let him come speaker and discuss Mr. Cook, and we would see. I asked Margaret about our funding. This is not for now. They're not asking for funding now. This will be in the coming budget. And we're looking for he's looking for $5,000 for 2 cameras that will go north and south on 77. I'm assuming
Right,
that will
yes,
be the first.
77 is the
the
main corridor, so ideally you'd look north and south.
And as our fund, Margaret says that some of our state funding is going to be increased from what it was last year. She doesn't know why, because all of it isn't in. And we still have our own budget. We have our own issues to deal with, and employee raises and all the things we have to deal with. But what he's asking for us is would we consider allowing that to be placed in the budget based on funding availability? And then he will come back every year and ask for continued funding to keep on going and things like that. So what they're basically asking for is when we start to build our budget, would we put $5,000 in for these tag readers?
And is that gonna be per year, or is that a one time?
That would be per year. Well, that
It's
would
$5,000 to install it.
No,
That's
that's for the equipment and the service.
Yep.
They're roughly $2,500 a piece. So if you do one north and one south, you're looking at $5,000. And the way all this software stuff is nowadays, it's a recurring every year. You're paying for the service. The little equipment really isn't that much money. It's the service that you buy in the long run to access that system and the software to read what they put inside those things. So it's super high-speed cameras. But they the one time on the equipment, but then it's a recurring fee.
Of course, the sheriff is very familiar with budgeting because he has to go and plead his case before the commissioners every year. And I told him that that if we had it, next year we may not have it. This is a year by year. We'll vote on it every year. If we have the money, we'll continue the services and stay in the program. If we don't, then at any time, he said he understood. He understood budget.
And as time goes on, we're steady searching for avenues of different funding as well. If there become an opportunity where we can just go get some funding, grants or something, the sheriff's on board for that. You know, he understands that if you could do it this coming budget, wonderful. And if something happens, you know, times are what they are, hurricanes and things, you just never know what's going to be in the future. So you miss it the next one. Hopefully by then, you know, they're becoming so popular that they'll start some grant programs, I'm hoping, and then we can just start picking them up for the whole county.
And we may need to begin to lobby our legislature or our local commissioners, because you can add $5 onto a fine designated to go to a bunch of them $5 been added on over the years, designated to go to a LPR.
Yes, I agree.
Whatever you see. Okay. Any questions for Mr. Cook? Okay. Then.
Well, if I can get up any literature, brochures, or any information, some more detailed information other than what we've experienced using our communication with other agencies on these items, I'll try to if I can't make it back at the regular town meeting, I'll have someone try to bring it to you. And we'll give you a little more understanding about what it is and what the capabilities are. I'm just touching on the surface of how high-tech these little gadgets are. We primarily use them for tags and vehicle descriptions. I can probably scroll through my phone right here on our Panhandle app from, I bet we have 10 or 15 agencies in it, where they'll ask all the time, and I'll see a picture of a car traveling down 98 or 77 in Lynn Haven, and where they ask us, have you seen this car? Or this is so-and-so's car, and he's headed this direction. that kind of stuff, so.
What he's actually working at is that we put it on the agenda for next Thursday, and we can vote on it then. Is that acceptable to everybody?
That's good.
If you'll ask Morgan to put that on the agenda as well then.
Thank you much, and I'll let the sheriff know, so hopefully he can be here.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, Adam Smith. Tell us the good things.
The good things is, August the 27th, we have picked a day to open up that fire department and make it ours usable, and we're moving forward. We can't wait on material anymore, it's just gonna come when it gets here.
What's the date?
August the 27th.
August 22nd.
August?
We'll be gone.
Miss Margaret was supposed to have told y'all.
What day of the week is that?
It's a Saturday.
We'll be gone.
Saturday?
Yeah. I mean, if that doesn't work, we can move the day. The day's not set in stone, it's just whatever, you know, that's just something I just picked honestly out of the blue. Just, she asked me for a date and I got looking at my calendar, said, okay, we can be ready by August 27th.
Let's see what anybody else's dates are. We're going to be in,
Blue
what's it
Ridge.
called?
Blue Ridge.
Georgia, that weekend.
I'd love for it to
And
be
this-
agreeable because I'm gonna invite Mr. Gainer and,
For sure, for
yeah,
sure.
because they
And
were very.
this is good for everybody else. We can't be here, and I would hate to miss that as much as we've
Well, you
waited.
need to be here because you need to
But if
be.
we-
Well, when's a good date for you?
Well,
A good Saturday.
probably even the very next Saturday, the 3rd of September.
I'm wide open, y'all just.
That's Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, Margaret said she didn't wanna do Labor Day weekend,
Okay, what about the 10th?
the weekend after that.
The weekend after that?
What time of day on Saturday?
Lunchtime, 'cause I think.
So we got the 3rd, the 10th,
Oh.
the 17th, or the 24th of September.
Do the 10th.
The 10th is good for me.
That is the sheriff's rodeo, isn't it? I don't know if anybody would be going to that.
That'd
So that's at night, this is during the day.
This is daytime.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
All right, as part of the ribbon cutting and all of that, the town has asked us to provide food for the community and all that, so we're gonna do some Boston butts, we're gonna make sandwiches and chips and drinks, and that'll all be free to the community, provided by the town, so.
That sounds good to me. I imagine our engineer would probably contribute.
And I'd love to push out a little bit further. I mean, maybe our equipment can come in. They're waiting on, I asked about it the other day. He said they have half of it there, but they didn't send the bases with it. So he's asking for those parts to come so he can send it all to us at one time.
What about you,
Yeah.
Mr. Ham and Ms. West?
10th's good to me.
10th is good for you? 10th is good for you?
Fine.
Yeah.
It is?
It's fine.
Okay. Thank y'all for making that concession. You can do it without us, but I would love.
I was just asked to pick a date and I picked a date. That's all.
Okay.
It didn't really matter when to make that to us.
Okay, we'll put the 10th, ribbon cutting for.
What hours are y'all talking, Adam? Is like just all day, just an all
No,
day?
it's gonna be lunches when lunch.
Probably 10 to 12,
Yeah,
you know, lunchtime.
We're gonna serve people food, you know, so, let them walk around and look at our new stuff and be pretty much it.
Do you need, Margaret to do those invitations to the senator, the county
Yes.
commissioners, anybody?
We would like Mr. Drake
And that,
and Mr. Gainer.
and Mr. Drake, yeah, those in that circle, we'll ask Margaret to.
And I'm sure the new candidates would like to be involved. I'm sure Shane would like to be invited and a couple others.
Yeah.
Clint.
This is good news. This is what, been a 3-year process now?
It's been a process.
Yeah.
We got something we're very proud of.
Yeah. And in the end, none of us has lost any real blood or lost any friends.
And honestly, what little we owe on the end of it is amazing for what we have.
Oh, it is. I want to tell you, that your chief and others have been complimentary of, I know he's been sick, he's been kind of under the radar and things like that, and I talked to him a couple of times. He's probably even, he can speak for himself. I started saying he was debating his future, but he can speak for himself. But I appreciate the accessibility that I have found with you.
Yes, sir.
And,
Anytime.
and that you, when I've called, you've given me answers.
Yes, sir.
So how are we on our equipment?
We're good. Right now, everything's good. Except for our brush truck, we're gonna take it up the lanes and let them, our little, pump that's on the back of it, that forestry technically gave us, it's not doing well, so I'm just gonna take it up the lanes, let them have the truck for a couple of days.
Speak a little louder, please.
Oh, the brush, our brush truck is down right now, and we're gonna take it to Lane's and let Lane work on it. It's the small pump on the back. The truck's fine, but the pump on the back is carburetors.
It's budget making time. We have a preliminary budget tonight. Have you seen it, or have you given any unusual budget items to Margaret that we're going to need to look at in the coming year?
Honestly, right now, we don't need anything. We're good.
I thought I would never hear those words.
We're in a very good spot right now. We have money in the bank, and we're doing well.
Ms. West, any questions? Mr. Wilson now? Ms. Carter?
I got one.
Yes.
Sitting out on the sidewalk Saturday at the parade, a lot of these out-of-town folks came by, and they were telling people where they were at and everything was going on. They were calling it the big garage in Wausau, because it has no wording on it.
We're putting a sign up.
We putting wording on the fire
We're
department?
getting a sign. Yes, we are.
All
Now,
right.
I've had a lot of people say, "What is that building?" I have no idea what it is. We're definitely putting a sign.
Okay.
That's great.
Honestly, I'd love to see initials over each bay, WFD, if I can get somebody to build them. I'd love to do that in metal, and then, it could be a thin metal, and just have it red,
Yeah.
WFD. It'd look really nice up there, and people would, okay, that's fire department, so.
Y'all agree with him to pursue that?
Yes.
I think that's a good idea.
Would you let me do it? I would,
Put the initials over the bay?
absolutely.
I think it's an excellent idea.
Okay.
Mr. Wolf?
Yeah.
It wouldn't have to be thick metal, it's just having somebody cut it out and with a laser cutter, it shouldn't be too bad, I can imagine. Then we can get Griffin up there with his, lift and set him up there and drill it in.
I don't know how you would attach it, but I'm sure that somebody does.
It's metal, just metal screws, just, yeah.
It'll be 3 letters, WVF, is that what it'll be?
WFD.
Wausau.
We have, yeah, we have 3 bays, so it'd be WFD.
You got 3 bays.
We got
So
3
we
bays.
Wausau Fire Department, WFD.
WFD.
WFD, Wausau Fire Department.
Okay.
I was thinking Wausau Volunteer Fire Department.
Because that's what it is on that one out here.
Yeah.
Do you put the V in there for volunteer, or just Wausau Fire Department?
No.
Because you got three doors, so you'll use Wausau Fire Department, whether they're volunteer or paid.
It doesn't matter.
One day they may be.
That building's built for the future, so one day I could see a paid group being in there at some point.
Yeah. I see the county sometimes put somebody in there, perhaps. Does that make a difference in how you feel about it? If we put the VFD?
Yeah, I feel good about it.
Okay, no, but if we don't have to be that, it don't change your mind. Okay. Yeah, I think we're good with that.
I'm sure Travis wouldn't mind coming and helping us hang them.
Yeah, go ahead and begin to get up, whatever you call it.
I'm on it, I appreciate that.
Okay.
I love that idea.
What else for the fire department? Okay, thank you for coming.
Oh,
Thank you for coming.
thank you.
And, if found my job. And this is Mike.
Yes, sir.
This is Michael Owens, he's,
Yeah, I knew him from Vernon Fire Department. department, and I met one day down at the farmhouse, and you know how it is when you meet somebody and they're not, and he had a fire department, and I kept on saying, I know that guy, but I don't know, why is he gonna? So I reintroduced myself
Well,
to him. Said,
honestly, with Sam being out and behind the scenes, he's been right beside me the whole time. So.
That's right, that's right.
Michael, what's the last name?
Owens.
Michael Owens, okay. I've seen your name.
We actually have two Michael Owens, so.
Yeah, that's
we can-
That reminds me, talking about names, how are we on getting our reports to the county now? The last, we've had some
It's getting
recent
better.
inquiries that
It's getting better.
that's not happening,
Yeah.
and we need that to happen.
We're working, it's getting better.
We want their money to continue to come.
I understand.
And we need to, and we bought, did we not buy computers for the trucks and things like that, so.
We have laptops, but we don't have service, so we just have to do it. One of the big things we need on that is when, they said whenever the new towers are up, that they're gonna supply the fire department and I guess the town hall with, free internet as part of that system. I just need it to happen,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. But, and this is not to be rude, this is business is like, when you come in from the call, the call's not over with to you. Unroll the
Nothing's ever
hoses,
been worse than it, right?
re-roll the hoses, restock the cooler, whatever you have to do to make the next run. So somebody needs to be assigned that reporting, and they may not be out there stripping the bay, but they need to be doing that because the run's not over till that's done.
Well, that was a sign, but the ball got dropped, and that was, you know.
But you'll take care of it.
Part of that, unfortunately, it's not on us, because, it is, but it's not. The county is, the dispatch, they've had such turnover that they're not getting us the information we need in a timely manner at times. And that's hurting it also, is trying to get our times from them.
What it does.
We need to let Margaret know that is, and the next time we get a call from the county saying that we're not getting our stuff in, we need to say, well,
when we had the previous fire coordinator, we'd get a call, they would send an email to him with our times, and he would forward it straight to us. Well, now, Savannah's just been throwing batches of them at us, you know, just batches, you know. So.
Instead of sending it every
Yeah.
time, it's,
Right.
here, wait until we got 10 or 15 and then send them.
Yeah,
okay, then we need to address that.
we're working on it, we're working it through. I've done
If
work.
we need to address it from here or from Margaret's office, please let us know, because
Right now, I got it covered. I'm back, we got a new fire coordinator, and he's working with us on it, so.
Yeah, it's definitely in progress, it's
Yeah.
just
okay,
trying to get the bugs worked out.
very good, very good. Anything that you have for us, anything you need to ask or tell us? Thank you for allowing it to be on the 10th again, and we'll look forward. If we can help you prepare something like that, let us know anyway. Thank you. All right, that brings us to the last portion, and that is the clerk's report. Margaret is available by telephone. I don't know, I haven't spoken to her on any of these things. I don't know if any of you have, or how much we want to get into it. I do recognize the last couple of items on here is a preliminary budget and the water collection issue. But I can call her up and get her on the phone and put her on speaker, and we can do it that way. We have her narrative, the bi-weekly infrastructure meeting. That's a mandatory part of our grant. And until it's closed out, she has to meet over the phone every week with the DEO or the who does the micro stuff? Is that DEM? But anyway, that's what that first one is. We need to set budget workshops at the August meeting, so that will be next week that we do that. We'll set a first and second workshop and have to read it by ordinance. The third bullet says 4 of our most delinquent customers are or have applied for assistance through DEO. The majority of these that are seriously past due are making an effort to pay their bills. I can look here and see what seems to be major delinquencies, but all, without an account number or something like that, I don't know exactly. And I don't know what serious effort they're making. That's not quite clear to me. Are they making $10 a week or $10 a month? If they're doing $10 a month and using $50 worth of water, you're not making any progress, you're going backwards.
Well, I didn't think we was gonna, I thought we were just gonna come in and pay it, or either it was gonna get turned off.
Well,
I think we made that decision several months ago.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way I see it, just nipping it in the bud. Either you come in and if it's $68, you pay the $68, or that day, it's locked. It's just locked. And that's the honest way to say it.
Well, you know, that's the
If we
way.
set precedents, they'll soon learn to pay on time, or it's gonna be cut off.
That's
I mean, that's the
the
same
only
way the light
way,
bill.
that's the only way.
Same way with a lot bill. I mean,
Yeah.
it's, when it's due, it's due.
Yeah.
If you don't pay it, you ain't gonna have no light.
That's the only way to do it, okay, to get
That's
it straightened
it.
out.
And it's out there. It's pretty,
14,000.
mm-hmm.
The electric company don't let you get.
almost
go.
15.
Just a few days and they'll cut it off.
That's it.
Just a few days and they'll cut it off.
I mean,
There's just no sense in that, I mean, just don't, to me it ain't, I mean, that ain't this thing.
And my compassion needs to be approached if there's any one person on there who has somebody who's terminally ill on the bed and they're living on
Oh, yeah.
$150 a month, that's different. But they need to be presenting themselves and presenting their situation.
yeah.
Don't just take for granted that you can keep on letting
Yeah,
a leak, or some of these, a leak just kept on running. Show me that you made an effort.
What is ED America?
Don't have any idea.
Is that,
Is that Tom Thumb?
I was just say, I think that's
Yes,
Tom
it is.
Thumb.
It's Tom
Yeah,
Thumb.
that's Tom Thumb.
There's no need for them to be behind.
no.
$2,500.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't paid in the last 2 months.
That's-
That'd be one when you turn the knob,
Mm-hmm.
they'll run over here.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many names here that aren't from here. There's so many names here we don't know. More than half of these probably I don't. $811, $888,
The 136, that's the one.
$580,
That's the
$390,
cancer, she said.
$350, $563.
That 173, that's one that we just got over the last time on making payments.
That's right,
And now it's all the way across.
$450.
Mhm. It's adding right back up. The last time it was over $1,000.
Yeah.
I say cut it off.
That's what I'm saying. I say cut them off. If they're not gonna pay it, cut them off.
If she is aware, she being Margaret, if Margaret is aware of any one of these who is in that dire, extreme situation, bring it back to us. Everybody else deal with it now, and if those aren't really dire, extreme as we recognize it,
Right.
still cut them off as well, but,
Yeah.
where there is a terminal illness, you use more water. If that patient lingers for a while, you're going to have loss of laundry, you're going to have loss of things like that. But if they need help, maybe we can help them find help to do that. A lot of churches, Tri-County, lots of places that people might get help, but this is almost where we were at. Was you the board when we started this before? I think with Marlene, but we was around $18,000, close to $20,000 in arrears. and we brought that down to like current almost. And there's $14,000 we're looking at right there that we don't have.
That's just this month. That's not counting letting it go the next month.
Yeah, that's right. And if we had that $14,000, we could replace that motor. Well, we probably could, because this money's budgeted. The problem is that this money is budgeted, but if we don't collect it, our budget is gonna be
It's
overspent.
gonna, that's it.
That's 3 years of them high-speed cameras we could put up.
There you.
Do we need to put this on the agenda to address with Margaret next week? We can call her now, but it's gonna have to be addressed, I think.
Let's just put it on for next week.
Okay. Last quarter, we collected $43,000. That's just an informational thing. The credit card payments are just an informational thing. I don't know what the People's South Bank is. I'm sure she intended to talk to us about each one of these. That August 12th meeting, if I remember what that asset management plan is, remember the man from the water system that came over here about 3 months ago and told us, here's your plan. He was to come back now and close out saying this is what you need to adopt in your plan to go forward. So August the 12th, when is that? That's Monday. Huh?
March 12.
Days 11.
That's from 11 to 1
Yeah, she mentioned he was
Yeah.
gonna be here, yeah.
during the day.
Last meeting, yeah.
Is there anything on there?
Sure, yeah.
We can call her, but let's just have 2 or 3 things that specifically, let's not make her go into a whole, a more lengthy now. Is there anything on there we want to talk to her about tonight before we transfer to next week's agenda? What about the budget? Do we want to just take these with us and look at them? We're going to adopt a workshop date next week, so is there any one of these things that we need to call her and let her tell us about? That thing tomorrow and the People's South Bank is the only 2 things that I think. Anything on there you want to talk to her about tonight, Mr. Porter?
No, I don't have anything.
Mr. Gordon?
Not tomorrow, no.
Mark?
No, I don't.
Okay, all right. We'll take our budgets, of course, your whole packages, you can take with you. Take our budgets with us and look at them for next week. Do any of you know what that is?
Did I run by that? I didn't see that.
That's history goes,
Oh, that's where she's, is for the water bills,
yeah.
and that's where she's saying the ones that has come in and actually paid cash, and the different ones that's using their card, and, using the cards and using the checks and stuff like that. Cause she put here that the credit cards that a lot of them are paying online, that's coming in really good, doing it like
There it
that.
is, like,
I guess it's just the ones that,
Oh,
it's just
I
not
see
paying.
water now, right on the top of the page, okay.
Mhm.
Cash, check, C-card, credit
Yeah.
card, okay.
Yeah.
That's the $44,000 she's talking about. The $44,000 is gonna be that 27 plus 15 plus 2, okay, all right.
we only had $269 paid with a credit or debit card.
I suspect that'd pick up, a lot of people swear by those debit cards and credit cards.
Yeah.
They'll sit home and do all their bill payment and everything like that. Okay, that brings us back to our first workshop of the evening with our employee. we'll have discussion on that. We can advance the name for the consent agenda. We can come back next week and vote on the consent agenda, or have discussion and vote, make a motion at that time. Was anyone impressed with either one of them?
I was impressed with Marcy.
So was I.
I think she presented herself very well.
I think so too.
And,
I'm leery about the other.
what scares
To be
me
honest.
about that other one is, the, suit she's got against Merlin down there.
Yeah. I think the presentation was a little flipped. You remember we started it the last time we had the man to come, and it was comedy and joking and all that. I think the presentation of herself could have been better. Is it consensus then that we would offer the job to Marcy? We can't vote on it tonight, but we can put it on the agenda for next week to fill that role as a consented. Or do you want to just put that as an item agenda and then make a motion then? And that would clarify your question about being able to vote too.
Let's do it that way.
Just do it that way.
Item agenda.
Put it on the agenda and we'll make a decision at that time. Anything else for our workshop?
I got bought down in Boston Palace over the weekend. Cause when they put up that end down there, it stopped a lot of airflow. And there was only like 2 big fans. And so I don't know how we can go about and get some airflow through that place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't the next phase of the grant supposed to close the sides and put AC in there?
And
If
when
not-
that conditioner in there,
It's supposed to be central heat and air, isn't
Well, that's what I think.
it? Yes.
But on that, I tell you, of course, we can't pick it up, turn it around and face it out. Our site planning wasn't too good when we did that, but, I've been disappointed how that grant went so much already.
I am too.
I thought it was supposed to be a whole new thing, and we wound up with just a cover up the front door
Yep.
so far. But air and heating and cooling is supposed to be a part of it. And, in those notes, please just ask Margaret to give a detailed report of that, because you're right. We'll need 2 more fans on both sides at least, if we don't get some air in there, because air circulating is what helps. And do we think the workshops are productive? Are they good for anything?
I think they're productive.
I think they're
We're
good.
good on
I
the
do
way we
too.
stand right now, but I think they're productive, very productive.
I think they're good, and once a quarter, it lets us talk to, our employees. I think sometimes approach us like they're frightened. I don't want them to be frightened to be here. I want them to build a team.
Build
I know,
build
being
these, yeah.
here, but, okay. Mr. Paul, would you like to address the, council tonight?
No, but thank you for the opportunity.
Mrs. Hagan, would you like to address them?
Let's go home.
And since there's no one else in the audience, we will stand adjourned.